I think a lot of people want to do stuff. I think a lot of people have this idea that they're going to do something awesome and they're going to go, you know, build things or go be an archaeologist or write books or whatever they're going to do. And I think 90% of those people don't do it because they're afraid of it, afraid of success or afraid of failure or whatever their fear is. And they live in that fear. I don't live in that fear.
Brett McDanel is an artist with a story to tell. Well, actually, a lot of them. He tried to tell stories through poetry, but quickly discovered he couldn't write. If he couldn't tell stories with words, he'd tell them with fire and steel and bones.
One of my favorite things to do is to take something that's perceived as violent in the world and remove it from that situation and turn it into something pretty. Brass knuckles, hand grenades, you know, things of that nature. I love that you can find something that's completely mangled in the ground, buried in the ground. You can pick it up, you can clean it off, and you can start removing the torment and the torture that this little piece of whatever has gone through. And by the time you get to the core of it, it has this stain of life on it. And it's almost impossible to remove that beauty. To me, that's what happened in my life, was that I had people find me when I was at my worst. And they found the beauty in me, and they left the life stains on me. They left the character that comes with living a life. I did everything I could to run away from my family for a long time. A lot of drugs, a lot of drinking, a lot of partying, a lot of disappearing.
Then a young woman who would later become his wife turned his world upside down.
When she met me, I was sleeping on a mat on the floor in a little bitty tiny place and wasn't very responsible and didn't have, you know, any real achievements under my name. She opened up beauty, she opened up love, she opened up things that I had shut off from my life. So she really woke something up inside of me.
As he evolved, McDanel searched for that sweet spot, the exact right way to express the emotion of his stories in metal sculptures.
I really tried for years to make the perfect face and the perfect head out of scrap metal, which I can do it okay, but you don't get the emotion. It takes away from it. Because you start going, well, the eye's a little funny, or the nose is too big, or the lips aren't right, or whatever. All of a sudden, it's too jumbled to make sense.
It would be his young stepson who helped him see the light, literally.
Me and my stepson, when we were in my garage about probably 9 years ago, and we were going through stuff to try to put a head on something. And I picked up a headlight and he looked at me and was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And it just kind of worked out.
200 headlight sculptures later, McDanel has work all over the world.
Pretty much everything that I've ever built has sold. There's someone that just falls in love with every one of them. I mean, I've watched people have an emotional, like, tearful response to one of my figures, and it's like, that's big stuff. Like, that's not what I planned on doing, but when that happens, it's like, that's as good as money in my world. It's better than money.
We were in the plaza, probably eating dinner, and we saw one of the pieces in the window, and the expression, just by the physical posture of the sculpture, just drew us in. And so we went in and we saw the piece, and unfortunately it had already sold because his pieces sell quick.
Drawn to McDanel's emotional metal, art collectors Brett and Jessica Nelson kept tabs on the artist, and when they built a new home in downtown Oklahoma City, they knew just who to call. They commissioned a work that would be the largest sculpture McDanel has ever done.
So this piece is called The Request. When we met up with him at Ludovine, we were in the middle of the house build, and as most people would say with house builds, it was more more than anticipated as far as emotion and drama and everything. And so he asked what we wanted, and I just kind of went like, help me. And we didn't see anything of it. We saw a little sketch, but he wanted to be a surprise. When he delivered it, he explained the request, it's either requesting help or responding to requests to provide help. And that's what we wanted, and it was a fabulous surprise.
I mean, the level of anatomic detail that he performed on this is just insane. And he knows that I'm into cars and motorcycles, and that was kind of one of the things that we liked. I was like, the mixture of anatomy and then these salvaged parts. And so he used a lot of parts in it from cars and motorcycles that we like. There's a lot of Porsche parts in it, there's motorcycle parts. There's actually some wine barrel straps on the back that goes for Jessica. And just all the fine details as far as the extensor tendons in the hands and feet. I mean, it's really just remarkable what he was able to do.
While the request tells a story for the Nelsons, much of McDanel's non-commissioned work tells his own stories. This one is about his father, who passed away after seeing his prodigal son return home.
My dad he was always making us do stuff to earn things, you know, chores and whatever. And so it was like, he told me he was like a ringmaster in a circus. You know, it was always giving me these hoops I had to jump through. And so, you know, the point of this sculpture is my dad said that, well, as you get older, there's more hoops and they're smaller. So good luck, you know. And so that's a piece of my dad's wisdom.
These days, McDanel has much wisdom of his own to pass along.
Okay, where would you like to be in the next, say, 5 years? What would you like to be headed towards?
Oh, I want to be as happy as I am right now, or happier. That's, if I'm, you know, 10 years ago, I just didn't want to go to prison. And 5 years ago, I was scared of getting married. And 3 years ago, I was scared of having a teenager that was going to be driving soon. And a year ago, you know, it's so goofy because all trying to project where I'm going to go, it just puts me back in fear. Because then I worry if I'm on track. Am I on track for that? Am I going in the right direction? Am I doing the right things to get there? You know, it's like, what's the point? If I don't enjoy you being here and in this moment and getting to do this, then what's the point? Life's good, life's bad, but everything I've been through has taught me something. So, you know, I'll take it like it is.